I have with me Jim Bask. And Jim, thank you for joining.
My pleasure, Paul. How are you today?
I'm doing really well, actually. It's a fun show. I've always really loved this show. It's kind of like the highlight of my week here. So today we're talking about the Matrox LCS. And tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a video guy's introduction in 60 seconds.
Absolutely, I'd love to. I'm just looking down at my machine because I see some questions popping up here on YouTube as well. While I'm looking at that, let me tell you that Video Guys has been in business for more than 20 years, selling video editing and production equipment. We started selling linear editing systems, moved into nonlinear with Adobe Avid software, and now with live production stuff like the Matrox Monarch LCS that we want to show off today.
Interesting. I wonder why they're telling us that the audio is out of sync, and I'm not sure why, because what I'm looking at looks good. All out of sync by about 2 seconds. Well, I'm going to have to do some testing later. We got to keep going on with the show. So tell us about the lecture capture market.
Maybe if they just pretend that we're Godzilla, then the audio sync won't be as bothersome.
Thanks. Yeah, you know what? It's interesting. I don't know what YouTube's doing. They're changing a lot of the things here. And it's hard for me to tell because we're like a minute and a half ahead of everybody. But I guess we just got to keep rolling. 20-minute show. In the post-show, maybe we can do some testing.
That sounds like a good plan.
So the lecture capture market, obviously higher education, schools, things like that. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so basically this is the third iteration of the Matrox Monarch series. They introduced the original Monarch HD to be able to give customers the capability to stream and record simultaneously. They followed up on that with the Monarch HDX to give a professional appliance that offered SDI input. Now the Monarch LCS is the evolution of that, giving you two encoders, either HDMI or SDI inputs, and it really works great for lecture markets, through schools, corporate training, pretty much any place you can imagine where you would want to have two things going on at the screen at one time. Whether it is the lecturer with course materials behind him, or two different people even presenting materials at the same time.
Interesting. So tell us about those inputs and outputs. I've got one here. I don't know if you guys can see that.
I got one here to hold up as well.
Yeah.
So the back of the unit does have one set of SDI inputs and two HDMI inputs. Now with that, you can use the combination of those inputs to hook up two sources going into it. So like I said, in the lecture market, you can have one video source on the professor who's given the lecture himself, and the second source being whatever those course materials are. It could be a PowerPoint presentation being served from a laptop, or it could be any other video source that's necessary to get those materials across cleanly and concisely.
Okay, cool. So I just had you full screen there. I'm going to see if that gives us any more insight into this audio delay, which I've never had before. Let's keep talking about it here. I have a opening of the box that I wanted to show while we're chatting about all this. So
Awesome.
Tell me about the operation modes. I understand there's a lot of different ways to use this, and if I'm catching you off guard, I can fill you in. I'm reading it off the website, but there's apparently different operation modes.
Yes, absolutely. So there's a picture-in-picture mode where you can take a PowerPoint slide with your course materials, blow that up over the entire screen, and then take me as the professor and put me in a picture-in-picture on any corner of that screen wherever it would work best in those materials. A lot of times in a lecture, it's important to hear me talk about the materials, but more important to see the slide and to see the presentation. Another great feature is the side-by-side mode. Side-by-side mode lets me essentially do a split screen where, as the professor, I could be on one half of the screen and I can toggle along through my presentation on the other half of the screen. The real beauty of what the LCS does is it doesn't constrict you to a 50-50 split screen. You can crop in on the professor so you see my face, you're engaged with me as I'm giving the presentation, but still see as much of the real estate for the PowerPoint slides at the same time. And then the final mode is what they call a switcher mode, where, like you did with me on the full screen video before, you can go full screen video to the slide, full screen video to me as the lecturer, and back and forth.
Interesting. Sorry, I'm just so yes. Basically, what everyone's saying here is that it is out of sync, and they've seen this happen kind of with no rhyme or reason when using YouTube Live. So it's something we're just going to have to roll with. So let's just keep going. I wonder if it'll actually be on the recorded version. So viewer-defined layouts. I thought that was kind of a cool thing. You want to tell us a little bit about the viewer-defined layouts?
Yeah, the viewer-defined layouts really is a cool thing. There are certain players that are being used and adopted throughout a lot of schools across the country, different universities. If you're using these players, you can, as the viewer, say, I want to see more of this PowerPoint slide. And you can choose your own layout that way.
Interesting. So that makes sense. That's what I thought it was. Thank you for clearing that up. But that's actually a really great feature where you can just kind of choose what you want to see as a student or a viewer of the presentation.
You know what it really is? I know just meeting people over the years, everybody learns a little bit differently. So to be able to give the viewers that flexibility is one of the reasons why I think schools are going to adopt this very quickly.
So tell us a little bit about the MSRP of this product.
So the MSRP of this product is $24.95, which is definitely a step up from the Monarch HDX, which had a $14.95 MSRP. $19.95. Don't quote me on that. I don't have that in front of me. But the beauty of the Monarch LCS, like all the Matrox products, is they do have an academic discount. So at a $24.95 MSRP, it's a $23.70 to schools or government agencies, which is really the target market for this product. So everybody's looking at that discount available to them almost off the bat.
Interesting. That's really good to know.
I mean, what's really cool about this product too is the way that we plan on taking it to market and getting it adapted into the school. We have a great demo program available where we can actually get a demo unit to your school or university and put it in your hands, let you try it, put it in your classroom, and decide whether it's going to be right for your application. We can use that academic discount to get you 1 or 2 units to use in your classroom and another classroom in the school. You can eventually roll that out to the entire department and then ultimately to the entire school or university. And we can work with you every step of the way. And we also have a huge network of dealers across the country that are available locally if you need that extra level of IT support and tech support.
Wow, this product is really starting to come to fruition with me here. And just sorry, I was doing so much stuff. What was the discount for schools and government? So
the MSRP is $24.95. Yep. Schools and government is $23.70.
Nice, a little extra there. So tell me about the remote management. That's basically how you use this thing, right? Because you put it on the network. There's no buttons or anything on it. You really manage it all over the network, right?
Yes, absolutely. It has standard protocols to work with whatever remote management or CMS software you're using in the school now.
Oh, interesting. I'm going to show their website really quickly to kind of just show where it is, and we'll show that off. And so the remote management's really cool. it's right here. So if you go to the matrox.com, and then I had to go from matrox.com, I had to come here, and then there's a little slide right here, lecture capture LCS, and this has all the details on it. So tell us about this Crestron control, because that's I'm not sure if a lot of I think a lot of universities and government facilities, they use Crestron, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Crestron, I know, is the #1 control protocol in corporate conference rooms and government industries and different lecture areas throughout government. I know for those reasons, it's being used in a lot of the larger universities and schools throughout the country, and is really an industry standard. Matrox is controlled beautifully with Crestron. It has all the protocols necessary for that, but also has an open control interface that it can tie in with any software that's being used.
That's awesome. So it's, what is the open protocol? Is it just like RS-232, or is there a control port on this thing? Let me see. It has RS-232.
I answer that for you, Paul.
Yep, it's got RS-232 right on there. I can see that.
There
it's a network RS-232, which is kind of cool. We have a Crestron programmer here, and that's the first thing she always asks about these things. So let's go to the next.
The first thing a lot of people ask. Absolutely.
So tell us about the future. So this product is not shipping yet. Is it shipping? Do you have it in stock?
No,
What's going on?
Is shipping. It's in our warehouse.
Oh.
We have demo units and full units available now. It's been shipping now for about 3 weeks.
Awesome. So this product is shipping. So people are buying it right now.
There it is.
Wow. Well, I know I got one too. I wasn't sure if I got a new unit.
This is not a beta unit. This is a working unit from our inventory. And like I said, we do have them available.
That's awesome. I know I spoke with Matrox earlier when this product was first coming out, and they tested it with the PTZOptics cameras. They thought it was a slam dunk, because if you look at the product, it's got an HDMI in, two HDMI ins, it's got one SDI in, so it's really, really easy to go ahead and plug that right into your PTZOptics camera as your camera input, and then your laptop or whatever else for your content.
Well, Paul, if I could talk about a new product that you have coming out shortly.
Sure.
The auto tracker with this device is a perfect match. Mm-hmm. If you have an auto tracker PTZOptics camera at the front of the classroom tracking your subject, you can crop that lecturer into a small part of the screen and have your materials as the larger part of your presentation, absolutely seamlessly.
I'm excited about it.
One of the reasons that a lot of lecture halls go with a widescreen capture on the professor is that they're worried about limiting the professor to standing in front of a podium and not being able to express his emotions while he's teaching the class.
And I know you got a chance to test the auto tracker out, so I know you're a little extra excited. I just shipped it to Tom Sinclair, so I think he's going to be playing with it. I'm hoping it's going to be shipping soon. One thing I do know will definitely be shipping in October, which is Q4 starting, is we're also going to have an audio controlled switcher. And the audio controlled switcher is only going to be like $200, and that allows you to switch presets automatically based on microphone inputs. And it's going to be, because the auto tracker is looking at like $7,000-$8,000, where this is going to be $250. So paired with this, for less than $3,000,